Welcome back to the Geek Set Podcast, the only podcast that blend hip-hop culture and geek culture together. I'm your boy Deuces in the building. This is 101 with Deuces, the place where I speak to creators, curators, and people that you should know. And right now, man, I am speaking with the one and only, man, multi-talented writer, actor, ex-music producer that I found out, Tristen Winger. How you doing, brother?
What's up, man? Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Man, you know, so on this podcast, we make sure that we give people their flowers. And, you know, I wanted to make sure that, one, I nicknamed you the master of side characters that make a large impact, because I feel like...
It's a long name, but I like it rolls off the tongue.
It's like Tribe Called Quest. You know, you got to say the whole thing.
Exactly.
But what I tweeted out about, and this is where I was like, man, like I learned more about you. So we got a mutual friend, and to hear more, I interviewed him, worked with him, you know, just as far as like just getting him on my platform, and been on Zooming with the Homies myself. But during the quarantine, watching those episodes with you on Zooming with the Homies, just learned a little bit more about you, who you were, and then just prepping for this interview and going back, I'm like, man, me and Tristen Winger is a whole lot alike. One of the things that like I relate with you about is when I was looking at some of your old tweets, like you did a lot of like TV show movie watching. Like Sundays was your thing, where you was watching How to Make It in America, True Blood, Entourage, and everything like that. And I was like, man, that was me. But now you are currently a part of the reason why people say I'm clearing my Sunday. Like that got to be crazy to see that full circle.
Yeah, it is crazy because, you know, Sundays, in my opinion, belong to HBO, especially in my mid 20s and up. Like Sundays, HBO, like whether I'm watching How to Make It in America, like you said, Entourage, Boardwalk Empire was my shit too. I love Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like now to be a part of a show that's like, okay, cool, Insecure Sundays, everybody's going to be talking about it everywhere. It just feels so good. And then whenever my character comes on screen, it makes an impact, and like that shit feel real good.
I know it had to, especially like now, because like your meme of the in the Uber ride, like that meme in the back of the car, that's now like stamped in history as like a response, something that people do.
It is. Yeah, that's insane. And I feel like, yeah, even when filming it, I was just like, I feel like this is gonna go viral. Like I don't know what this is gonna look like specifically. We filmed different versions of that. Like for example, there's one version of that scene where we filmed, because in the version that came out on the actual episode, you just see Issa fumbling around in the car, and then you see me walk by real quick, and then I jump in the car, and then it's revealed it's me. But there was another version where I walk out of the shop and the camera is following behind me, so you just see like behind me as I'm walking to the car, and then I get in the car, and then it would have been that. But I like the version that came out on an episode better. It's just, you know, even doing that, I was like, people are gonna really love this part because I wasn't. That was episode 5 of season 3, and I hadn't been in any episodes until episode 5, and so we got to begin the episode like that with Thug Yoda and Issa being like, "Oh shit!" Right. We had that moment, and then at the very end of the episode, we got the surprise where, "Oh shit, Lawrence is back."
Yeah.
So, like, those were great bookends, and like it was all planned, and now it's a meme. It's forever ingrained in history.
It's forever ingrained in like internet history, and I love the fact that like you said, you guys would go off to like read the script, but then you'll have that opportunity to go off, like you freestyled the whole Bleanix and Blorax pipes and everything part. But it was like that was pretty dope that you actually like got to like just throw in some extra, because I feel like it made it like truly who, like, you know, that standout character, because you got to kind of put your own spin on it.
Yeah, I'm really happy when we get to like play around a lot. And so like, and that's even from from the first time we were acting together on camera with Awkward Black Girl, that first scene. There's a blooper reel of that first scene where I'm just saying different stuff because originally Darius said something like, I'm from Carson originally, but I'm from Arizona. And then I continued that. I started saying stuff. I was like, my parents on a jellyfishing boat. We like to go jellyfishing. I really like on Wheel of Fortune. I was upset when they went from the analog boards that switched over. They went to digital to where Vanna just touched it. And so like, so Issa knew that I could just like improvise on the spot. And so from then on in Insecure, like she just let me, I could tell when we're about to improvise because then after the lines in the script are done, she says something and it's like, and now it's time to play. Right. So like that's what happened in the last season, in season 4, where I got to go off saying like, yeah, who am I here with? I'm here with Brian, Brandon, Bailey, Barry, Brian.
But you know, it has to help that you guys have such a strong relationship, knowing each other from high school and everything, because it's kind of like talking to your homies. You know, like y'all can just riff and everything like that. So at that point, you and Issa just really just chopping it up and then just kind of feeding off each other. You took improv classes and you guys did plays with each other, so like you already got, you know, good chemistry, and it's like, okay, we could just feed off each other and everything.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, we're two silly nerds from LA, so it's like we're just gonna play, and
right.
It makes, you know, it's great chemistry and it makes for great TV too.
Yep. And you know, like with everything that you've been doing, because like you went from like working with Issa, then working on 50 Central, then working with Will Packer, like you've been working with some titans, you know, and like that has to be also like just like a really good feeling, knowing that like, oh, you know what, I'm one of my best friends is one of the biggest people in the industry, and I'm also working with working with 2 other like titans in this game. It's like you are seemingly like starting like giving like really great legs to your career.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very validating because, you know, first of all, I'm from LA. I'm from South Central LA. Which is known, you know, up until I want to say up until Insecure premiered, 2016 was known for just like, oh, it's the hood, oh, it's South Central LA, oh, we got to be afraid of that, oh, don't wear the wrong colors. But up until then, you know, so it's validating that, you know, I'm from LA, I'm Black, I'm making it in the entertainment industry as an actor, which is like the odds are 1,000,000 to 1. People travel from all over the world to come to Los Angeles to work in entertainment, to be an actor. And I've had a great blessing and opportunity to work with some titans in the industry, like you said. I mean, first with Issa, then 50 Cent, which was incredible and also ridiculous because it's like 50 Cent, he is insane and brilliant at the same time. That man is smart. He knows what he's doing. He be trolling for a purpose because people are going to talk about it, and that's how he generates buzz for his shows, which is brilliant. And with Will Packer and with BET, who you know is producing our show and our network, and I'm grateful to have them as a partner. And so like it's very validating that, you know, so many people believe in me, believe in my talents, and I get to showcase them to the world. And then it's also validated because then there are fans or people who watch these shows who are like, I love this. Give me more of this. I want to see more of Thug Yoder or Vince Carpenter or, you know, just Tristen in general. So I'm appreciative.
Before Thug Yoder, did people like when you would run into people, will they be like, hey, whisper to me real quick? And now people are asking you to do the Thug Yoder?
So what was happening is folks were coming up to me and just going like, and I'm just like, and it happened a few times where I was just like, I'm sorry, what? Because I didn't get what they were doing. I just thought they were talking to me in a low voice, and they were just like, you that whisper dude, right? The DJ, the whisper dude, right? Like, oh yeah. And then one time, these 2 dudes, when I was working, I used to work for Apple at the Genius Bar, and these 2 dudes came up to me at the Beverly Center, and they was talking to me, and they kind of ran up on me together, and I was just kind of like, what's going on?
Right.
And then whispering at me, and then it took me a second to realize that it was DJB and Tone from Fly Guys Present the F Word. And Fly Guys Present the F Word is another web series by Issa. And they were fans, and I love that show too. So yeah, it happened a lot. So a lot of folks were just whispering at me, nothings. And now people be yelling "bouch" at me, which is also fine.
just yelling, just messing up any word with a C, just yelling at the B with you and everything.
That's it.
But then I also like how you can switch it on and off. Like you was telling the story on Zooming with the homies about like how like, you know, saying people really of that culture came up running on you, and so that way you don't show that you're threatening. You just switch it right back to your regular. Hey, how you doing, guys?
Real easy. Walking my dog Frito down the street. Hey, yo, what's up, Tristen? Hey, what's up, blood? I was like, hey, how's it going, guys? What's up? Right, I'll come talk to you guys in a second. Be right back.
Let me clear this up ASAP.
So you know.
But you know, that's also goes into, because I know that you do voices on Fruit the podcast, but then you also really good impersonation of just certain famous people. And at one point you did say, you didn't give any details, but you said that you was doing a voiceover for a video game with the motion capture.
Yes.
Can you talk about that at all, or is that still under the wraps?
Oh. No, I can't.
Okay.
But it's a dope, it's a very high profile video game. It's a sequel, and that's all I can say about the video game.
Hey, we'll take
but
that.
It's dope. And I do multiple characters for it, and I'm super grateful. I can't wait. I can't wait for it to come out. It's probably gonna be a while, but
so is voice acting a goal of yours?
Acting in general, like I'm an artist, so like whatever medium it is that I'm interested in, I want to work on that. Like you mentioned earlier, music production, like that's a thing. Acting is another form of art. Directing will be another form of art once I get to start doing that as well. So voice acting is something I've just always done naturally. I've always imitated my uncles. Hey, what's up, nephew? Hey, come up, Tris, get over here. Let me holler at you, nephew, for a second. It's just like I'm just imitating, and I would get in trouble because I'd be imitating my uncles or talking too much in class, making fun of my teachers just because they had a funny voice. Sir, no, sit down, stop beating on top of the table, put your pens down, sir. And I would just get in trouble for that. And now I get to make money from it. So isn't that awesome?
And it's funny because like the voice and just that scenario that you just did, like it seems like we all went to the same high school or had the same type of counselors or instructors. Because I forgot what the guy's name is. There's some guy on either Instagram or TikTok, and he be doing like the teachers. He be doing, and I'm like, that's exactly the teachers that I had. And I feel like we all had the same teacher.
Yeah, walking around with the keys. You're talking about the dude with the keys.
Yeah,
like principal. The keys always jingling. That's hilarious. But yes, the reason why, and here's the thing, the reason why these characters resonate with us so much is because they're familiar. The reason why Thug Yoda resonates so much is because he's familiar. Baby Voice Darius is a familiar person. The principal on Instagram, that's a familiar person. And it feels good to see those people reflected and recognized, because like, yo, that's what makes jokes funny. Yeah. Not just because they said it a funny way, but it's the recognition. So it's perfect.
So as far as something that I didn't know about you, and I don't know how deep it goes, but you binged Death Note in one sitting, which is one of the best, greatest animes in the world. Are you big on anime?
I'm not the biggest on anime. And just because there's so much to watch now. There's so much, and we have so much access to so much stuff. And so it's like I'll start one thing, and then somebody be like, "You need to be watching this." It's like, "Okay, let me watch that." So I'm over here watching this thing, and then somebody's like, "Oh, but you ain't seen it." And I'm just like, "All right." I get pulled in multiple directions, so it's a little difficult to keep up. But Death Note, one of my friends, James Rogers, he's a writer. He was like, "You gotta see Death Note." And so I watched Death Note, and I just kept it rolling to the next episode. I think it was like maybe 10 episodes or 14 episodes. I just sat all day and I just watched the whole thing. I do love when I can watch TV shows like that. I also love when I, appointment television where I have to come back week after week and watch a TV show too. But when a show is good enough to where it makes me want to sit and watch it to completion, because it's available for me to watch, I love that too.
And you know, the reason why I bring that up, because one, they got this notion that Black people don't really like anime, or you know, or you got to be a super geek. But I'm just like, what I love about this platform that I created, like, because we blend both hip hop culture and geek culture together, I'll have like the most geekiest geek. I'm talking about the actually geek, and then I have like Thug Yoda, like the most thug out nigga, like, and then like the way the conversation, because we did a live podcast, and the way we do our live podcast is it's an open conversation with people, right? So we had like some thugs there who like don't really know much about it, but they know a little. So like we have the open mic, and I just remember this one guy came on, he was like, hey yo, so you know, Goku, that's my nigga, right? And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Giving niggas the hands and shit like that. So like, what other animes where niggas be catching hands that y'all should catch, right? So I started creating this list, right? Where I like, and like the way I do it is I create lists for people who want to get into anime, but I gear it towards that, because it's usually like a lot of just like people who like they treat it like a drug deal, like, hey yo, cuz like, what type of animes you be watching, or like, right? So I was like,
Cowboy Bebop, what you
right.
Some Samurai Jack.
So I make my list now. I'm like, all right, animes if you want to see people catch them hands. Anime if you want to be tripped out by the head, like, and like I that's how I create my list, and I send it to people. And then next thing you know, now I got people deep into anime, because like I broke it down, like, okay, you should watch this, you should watch that, and everything. So it's like those is like, I love that blending of cultures, of showing that, because now you start seeing like anime. One of the great things about it is they have really good storylines, like really good storylines.
Yeah, I remember when I was in college, my friends got me into Rurouni Kenshin, the Wandering Samurai, and I was like really into that with them. I was like, wow, he has a reverse blade, so he doesn't like kill people, and he just the shit. And he be getting his ass whooped, but at the end he be murking them with that reverse blade somehow. Yeah, yeah. So like, I don't know, man. It just takes the introduction. I feel like
It does.
it just takes someone being like, check this out, or someone kind of like, it's almost like giving permission to like something that's outside of uh, the perceived culture.
Yeah. And you know, I think because it also catch a bad rap, because a lot of people, when they think of anime, they instantly think of hentai. And though hentai is a part
What
of
the hell thinks a hentai?
just
What? What niggas like, what anime? Oh, you mean that that porn shit?
Yeah, that's exactly how the conversation goes. So, and I often I'm like, no, it's not that. I was like, yes, that is a part of anime, but that's not the main thing of anime. And,
yeah. Whatever. I don't know. I've just never heard anybody be like, oh no, that's some freaky shit. Nah, I'm not gonna watch anime because they be fucking. Like, I've never heard.
Well, you seem to have a more open mind to things.
There's also that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I do like to ask people, because it's like, you know, you talk about like different fandoms and everything. I know you said that you haven't had a chance to play video games in a while, but thinking back to your childhood, what was like the first game that you spent a lot of time playing? Like the ones that you could remember that you remember we didn't have save back in the day, so you had to press the start button to keep it on. But what was that game for you?
So I didn't really have I mean, my first game system was my Game Boy, and I love that thing. That was a gift from my mom. And of course there was Tetris, and there was a Simpsons game that I had. And then there was like this Balloon Boy game on there as well. But like once I got to high school, you know, we had the Game Boy Color, which was like the Game Boy Color was slim, color screen, and then like Pokemon was popping. And so like I remember everybody, 10th grade year, 2000, everybody had Pokemon. You either had Pokemon Red, you had Pokemon Blue. I think I had Red. I had Pokemon Red in my teal Game Boy Color, and I also had Pokemon Yellow, the Pikachu edition. And so that was the first game that I played to completion was Pokemon. Actually, before that, I remember when I was in junior high, one night my mom is a teacher, and she just retired. but my mom was a teacher, and her TA, her teacher's assistant, used to live in our back house, and sometimes she would watch us when my mom would like go on dates and shit. And so her daughter had a PlayStation, and she had Parappa the Rapper, and me and my brother stayed up all night. We stayed up all night playing Parappa the Rapper. Miss Crouch was back there in a room, and we was out in the living room playing Parappa the Rapper till 5 o'clock in the morning. I was in junior high. I was maybe 11 or 12 years old playing Parappa the Rapper. I played that shit to completion. Kick, punch, it's all in the mind. If you want to test me, I'll show you fine now. Kick, punch, kick, punch, kick, punch, kick. Like all night, beat the game. And I was in like 96, 97. So that's the first.
Framed in my head that song that good. I see you getting better. Like it's all stuck in my head.
And I'm just like, this go. I like this. Kick, punch, kick, punch.
Like it goes, man. Like that's funny because I remember getting introduced to that. Remember I used to do the demo disc. So I remember playing it on the demo disc.
Over and over and over again.
Did I forget the clacker out there? I'm just gonna clap.
You had brought it too.
I know, I'm just gonna clap.
I'm mad because I was definitely expecting you to get it.
I mean, I could quickly go grab it.
Just clap. 1, 2, 3.
All right, man. Welcome back to the Geek Set Podcast, the only podcast that blend hip hop culture and geek culture together. I'm your boy Deuces in the building. With me, I got my man Liv.
What up? It's Liberace, the instant Puerto Rican Santa, the spiccato playing, beat making, motherfucking legendary ass Puerto Rican. Sofrito Papi, and we back.
As always, I got my man Bacardi in the building.
Randolph today.
Konnichiwa, bitches. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. I hate all of this. I hate all of this.
What's good, everybody? How we doing today?
And we got Didge in the building. What is happening, people? What's happening, people? What is happening, people? What is happening, people?
He's out the booth.
But it's like I said, we are expanding. We are doing more. So like I said, make sure you go to youtube.com/geekset. Follow us on all social media at Geekset Podcast on every social media. And rating reviews in, man. We are rating reviewers on Facebook, rating reviewers on Apple iTunes, rating reviewers on Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever platform you're looking at. Give us some ratings, let us know. And then again, this is the only podcast that blend hip hop culture and geek culture together. We are out.
Peace.
So speaking of your mom, you said that like your mom, like she was huge in the support with you growing up, finding activities and things for you to do, you know, saying to keep your mind sharp and everything like that. How important was that support from, you know, with this essentially being a dream to chase this, and you knowing that, especially with your mom, you said she was a teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so she went to school, had the secure job, but she still supported this dream. How big was that for you?
It's huge. And it was very important just because like my mom, she's very serious, of course, with her profession or whatever, but also she's very creative because my mom was a ballroom dancer, professional ballroom dancer, up until she had me. So she was a professional ballroom dancer, toured the world, and she got to entertain and compete, and she won all kinds of awards and medals. She's got tons of trophies and medals in the garage. And so she understood what it was like to put on a performance. Like I remember when Family Matters was a thing, they had this competition. They was like, want to be on an episode of Family Matters? Be a guest star by sending in a video of yourself reenacting one of the scenes. And so my mom was like, ooh, and like, I love Family Matters because I love Steve Urkel. I'm like, representation, that's a black nerd on TV, suspenders. And so my mom was like, I was like, yes, I want to do this. And so the rules said, reenact a scene from Family Matters with Steve Urkel and then submit it. My mom was like, we're going to create our own scene. and so she wrote this scene where it's like, so Tristen, you're gonna act like Urkel is trying to go on a date with Laura, and you're gonna serenade her because we're gonna show off your voice, and you're gonna sing A Whole New World by Aladdin, which didn't make sense. Why would I sing A Whole New World? and I'm I'm going to be doing an audition for Family Matters, but I'm 7, so I'm like, okay. And so did it, submitted it, never heard back. And that's, it's fine. And there was also a situation like I used to go to, there was a Boys and Girls Club in LA. It was Challengers Boys and Girls Club. And they had a talent show. And I remember this was 92. And and I competed, but there were no more slots in the kids category, in the kids section for the talent show. So I competed in the adult section. So my mom was like, "You're gonna sing the greatest love of all." And so she got our neighbor, Daniel Mitchell, who was a excellent keyboardist, pianist, and we recorded him playing The Greatest Love of All. And so we did that. And then I performed The Greatest Love of All at the Boys and Girls Club. I had on my little white shirt, black pants. I had a kente cloth cap on. I had a kente cloth sash. And I'm sitting there with that big ass microphone. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. You know how kids be singing, but not really singing? That was me. And I won 3rd place. And so like my mom, yeah, like you said, like she always put me in different like events and just activities to just be like, okay, what do you want to do? It's like, let's try all the things. T-ball? No? Okay, cool. Basketball? No? Okay, cool. Clarinet? No? Okay, cool. So it was just like, she was exposing me to as many things as possible. So I just had this world view of just everything, literally giving me a whole new world to bring it back to that.
Everything comes back full circle, which also I want to say, out of all the interviews that I've had, you've been setting me up for the best transitions ever, because
what I do?
Because you talked about Family Matters. Now you once said that Jaleel White was one of your heroes, and then you also later on went on and said that you would love to portray him in a biopic. So to kind of continue to put that in the air, I just wanted to bring it up because I think once you said that and I started thinking, I was like, oh, I can see it. Like, I can see you being like, if they did the biopic of Jaleel and then just kind of talking about more of his adult life and get into that, you would be a shoo-in for that because I can already see it portrayed.
Yeah, I received that. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, man. Like I he was just this character. Again, he was kind of like a Thug Yoda, where like I think the story was like he was just like this side character who was just supposed to show up, who wasn't supposed to be that significant in the show. Yep. And like, but he was so prolific in his presence and what he was doing. And he was so funny. And it was just like, he had that voice and he liked cheese and he was weird and he moved weird. And he was so charismatic though, as that character. It was just like, we need to keep bringing him back because the audience loves him. I had an Urkel doll.
You know what?
I still have the Urkel doll with the drawstring in the back. You pull it, he's like, got any cheese? You pull it again. No sweat, my pet. Pull it again. Like he's got.
You kind of got to repost that because that is a relic. That is probably like that. Probably to this day on eBay, that's probably going for thousands of dollars. Like
it's up there.
Yeah.
Glasses though.
Oh, but you know what? He may be the only character in TV history that is so big that people call the show his name. Because I remember growing up, like, oh, we gonna watch Urkel. Like a lot of people forgot it was called Family Matters, and they was calling it Urkel, like that was the name of the show, and that was not the case. It was definitely Family Matters.
Damn, I'm gonna watch the Urkel show.
Right, I'm gonna watch the Urkel show.
Shit, I mean, that isn't that insane though? Like he was supposed to be this side character, and then I'm sure by like season 2 or 3, he was number 1 on the call sheet or something. Like everybody was waiting for him.
So I said, can you even imagine the show without him? Like I feel like it won't work. Like that he's such a pivotal part of each plot point, you know. So I was like,
yeah, and it almost is like, you know, when we think about these shows, these sitcoms, like there's always a character who is like strange, who is like offbeat, and that's who Urkel is. Like even when we think of Friends, which I didn't really watch, Joey I think was like the offbeat character. It's like he's a dude trying to be an actor and he's off. And even Phoebe was like offbeat. Yeah. when we think about these shows, like even when I think of like Step by Step, there was like a cousin in the van who lived in the backyard. He was like their offbeat character. And when we think about what's that show, Full House, we had Uncle Joey and
Uncle Joey was, because he did the voices and everything, and and then Uncle Jesse was like the musician.
Yeah. Cool. But he lived in the attic with a whole family. All right, nigga, get your cool ass out of here. Go live in a house with your wife and friends.
Back in the day, all you had to do was wear leather and play. Because remember, he had the leather jackets.
He had a leather jacket. He had a leather vest. He had leather pants. He had leather shoes. He had leather glasses. Like what?
So that equated to cool back in the day.
All right, loser in your attic.
So I often like to put people who play like iconic characters together with stuff, and I think that what would be a hilarious buddy cop movie would be Thug Yoda and Darius. Like if you did like Thug Yoda and then Quiet Voice together in a movie, that would be like, or a short. I feel like their dynamic together would be hilarious.
That sounds real stupid in a good way. Like,
that's what I'm saying. It'd be one of those, like, wait, what? Like, what is going on?
It would basically be like Training Day, except like it would be Training Day. So like Thug Yoda would be Denzel's character, and Baby Boy Stairs would be the other character, or the other way around.
Yeah.
Oh, you just trying to inch dust? I know you like to get wet. What you talking about? I'm dry. I'm sitting in the seat right here. What you mean? Oh, we just smoke angel dust. PCP. Bro, what you talking about? I don't do none of that shit.
I think that'd be funny.
It'd be hilarious. So quick question, because you went out for Miles Morales, didn't get it, but you didn't seem like it impacted you heavily. Like I know you hear stories of people going out for auditions and not getting a role, and then it kind of like, ah, man, that sucked. But you was in high spirits. You know, a lot of people was still giving you congrats for even getting that opportunity to audition. Now that like I guess the role has already been casted and everything, how was that audition? Like, was it like?
So what's interesting about with auditions like that, you don't. So that's a voiceover for a high profile, and that was for the video game.
Okay.
They change the character names, and they give the project name like a fake name, which is the same thing they did for the video game that I'm on now. Like they didn't use the real name of the video game. They didn't use the real name for the characters at all. They just give you sides, and it's like, this is what the character is like. And so I didn't know what I was auditioning for, but I had an inkling, just like I had an audition for shit. I can't talk about that.
That's the one thing about that's the one thing about the learning the process of actors. It's like, man, you know they got really great stories, but because of NDAs, they just can't talk about it. I'm like, man, I know that, but
yeah, and I hate to tease, my bad, but it was
okay, man. It's all right, man.
They came out at the same time.
In the geek community, we understand because we know that one, spoilers is a big thing. So it's like, don't spoil it anyways. But it was just like, even way. I mean, the fact that you're getting those opportunities for projects like that have that NDA, meaning it is something that's either already has legs or is going to be a part of a bigger world. And again, with you, like I said, with you, this is still kind of like the start of your career. Like, it's amazing, you know. And then for us who've seen you from the beginning, I think that's why your fan base is so strong. Is because we seen it from the beginning. Like, you was heavy on like Twitter. Like when Twitter was popping, you was on there talking about, about to go out to the movies with the homies. What's going? Like, you was part of Twitter conversations to the point where it was like, dang, like we legit saw your star rise. And kind of we're with you on that ride. That's why Issa's fan base is so big, because we saw her rise, and like we was there with you guys. So I think that, like for you to say, I can't talk about that, nobody's gonna feel away, because we're like, hey, we don't want to mess up anything, because we want to see you at the top of the top.
And we've seen it happen. Like I saw on Twitter maybe like a month ago, somebody tweeted there's like, oh my God, I just booked this music video for Beyonce. Oh my God, I'm so excited. This is so great. And then like the next day, Like somebody like did a screen capture and it said tweet deleted, and like they cut that off. She signed the NDA, which means don't talk about it at all. Which means don't say I just got booked for this Beyonce swimsuit collection. I just got booked for this. Anything Beyonce that she don't want you to talk about, don't talk about that shit. You saw Tiffany Haddish got in trouble when she started talking about what. I'm not even going to repeat what Tiffany Haddish said. I don't want Beyonce to get mad at me.
Right, he had the Beehive.
But apparently, was somewhere Beyonce was, and Beyonce did something that people would think was weird, and Tiffany talked about it, and Beyonce was like, "Oh, all right, bet."
But see, this is what I learned, and I learned it from I think it was Hitman Holla on Wild 'N Out, but it was also something that I always had just because I do music as well, and being on that process of doing it. So one of the times, and I just remember like. We had this huge feature that we was going to get, and I was boasting about it. Yo, we doing this with this person, blah, 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 blah. And then it fell through. And then I felt like I was the biggest capper in the fucking world. And I was like, all right, I'm never going to speak on anything until it actually is set. I've been talking with, behind the scenes, I tell people anyways, but I was talking with your people trying to set up this and everything. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be dope. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm not going to say it until the date set because I know how busy you guys' schedule get. But I think where it drove home, Hitman Holla was talking about his first episode on Wild 'N Out. He was like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? I had all these lines and shot all this thing. I rented out a club. We had a whole club party and everything to show it. And we, you know what I'm saying? When they showed the episode, they ain't show none of my jokes. And he was like, but that's just the way they shoot. They shoot so much and they got to condense it down to that 30-minute schedule. So I learned that. I was like, I started doing a couple of commercials and, side roles, stuff like that. But I'm like, I'm not even going to talk about it because like I did an episode of Chicago Fire and it's out now so I can talk about it. But literally you see like my shoulder. But the way they shot it, you've been on set. It seemed like the camera was right there. So I'm like, oh man, I'm getting mad FaceTime. Y'all gonna see me on Chicago Fire. I'm about to get all this. And then when the episode came out, of course I told my mom. So my mom like, where was it at? I'm like, so you see that shoulder right there at the 18 4 26 mark? That's my shoulder. But I'm like, but it was like I learned that quickly. Like, okay, let me just wait until it's out, and then let me review it, and then I just repost it. Like I just do it that way because, yeah, I don't want to set myself up for failure.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. So 2 segments that we get into and then we can get up out of here. So one segment that we do is the top 5, right? And now with you consuming as much TV shows that you have and everything, and also being a part of the TV shows, I did want to get top 5 TV shows for you. Now it does not have to be in order, and it can be just like it could be currently right now, but just top 5 TV shows for you.
Top 5 TV shows. Well, I gotta push my show Bigger because it's great. Bigger on BET Plus. Insecure, of course. Atlanta. I love Atlanta so much.
Did you ever get the script of the first 2 episodes? I saw you was asking that for research.
I did. Yes, I did. And also like that script is different from what actually came out. I was like, whoa, where's all this?
Right.
So Bigger, Insecure, Atlanta, Breaking Bad. And if I gotta choose, damn, there's so many great ones. Snowfall.
Okay. Yeah.
Snowfall is good.
Yeah, I saw you recently.
I like in my neighborhood.
Yeah, I saw you recently put that up in that. You said it's up there with Breaking Bad and The Wire and everything like that. So,
absolutely.
And I agree. That's what I was telling people. Like I love Power, but Power got a little ridiculous towards the end. But I was pleasantly surprised with Power Book 2 because it's funny because we went all the Power like Tariq. Oh man, we are tired of you, Tariq. And then in like the first 3 episodes of Power Book, I'm like, all right, I kind of like Tariq. I'm cool with Tariq. So it's like it was good. So and the writing on there is amazing. Like I was like, okay, they're getting right back to their roots. But I agree with there. All right, so now I'm gonna take you back to your music producer days because I know that Pharrell is one of your inspirations, and the video I saw with you when you got a chance to do Quiet Voice for him and everything. I think was that a like an Awkward Black Girl premiere or something?
So that was that was for the season 2 trailer. So Issa and Pharrell were filming the trailer, and so before that, like maybe a week before, we were doing some shots for Awkward Black Girl. Like we were doing some like key art photos for Awkward Black Girl, stealing shots in in Beverly Hills. Just like we went out at like 10 o'clock at night with the camera, and we just took photos out on Rodeo Drive, and so during that shoot, Issa was talking about having to go shoot the trailer with Pharrell, and I was like, Issa, please, can I please go? Can I please go? You know how I feel. She was like, yeah, of course. I was like, oh God, thank you so much. And so drove to downtown LA a week later. It was at the director's house, this beautiful condo with glass everywhere. And I remember just sitting there. I'm just sitting there with my friend Ashley, and some other friends, and Issa, and in that trailer, Issa was rapping, and so like Issa was writing her raps, and then I remember looking up, the door opened, and Pharrell's bodyguard came in, and then his assistant came in, and then maybe his stylist came in the room, and then Pharrell came in, and Pharrell had on like this little beanie on the back of his head. He had on like a bomber jacket, some cut off denim shorts, and some Timberland boots that he painted on. And I just remember just looking like, wow, it's really him. He's really here. And then him and Issa did their thing. They went to go film. And then like while they were filming, I was kind of like positioning myself like, all right, so I'm gonna say this. And then maybe he'll say this. And then like, I'm gonna tell him that I produced too. And then he'll be like, oh, word, you should come to the studio sometime. And I'm like, oh, that'd be an honor, Pharrell. Yes, please. And then Pharrell came out the room, and Issa like introduced me, and he was like, yo, you are one of my favorite characters on the show. He was like, can we record a video? And I was like, yes. Yes. I wanted a picture. You want a video? Yes, let's do it. And then that's when we recorded the video. My friend Ralph recorded it. And then Pharrell just started cracking up as soon as I did the voice. And
that was a legit laugh from him too. That's what I think that was really dope, because it was like, it wasn't that industry laugh. Like you can tell that really was like enjoyable for him. And I was like, that got to be dope to me. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that you're like, oh yeah, that's dope and everything. So, but I wanted to get top 5 producers, because I was you like just seeing some of the people that you were bigging up. You were bigging up some really dope underground people at the time who are major now and everything like that. And I'm like, oh, so he's tapped into this producer world. So,
yeah. Top 5. So let's throw Neptunes, absolutely. Hit Boy, who was one of like the underground producers. I remember I first heard of Hit Boy when he did Drop the World for Lil Wayne and Eminem. Him and Chasing Cash, they had a production team, I don't know if it's still around, called Surf Club, and they used to produce music together, and they did Drop the World together. And then he started working with Dom Kennedy, and that music was fire. So Neptunes, Hit Boy, Just Blaze, Kanye West. Let's see, who else do I really love? And then I'm gonna throw in another underground producer. His name is Romderful. And he's a child of the Neptunes. Like a lot of his music sounds like Chad and Pharrell's production, and I love it. He got some dope shit. So those are my 5.
Are you still tapped into like the underground world in general, or are you just more listen to like what you get a chance to? Like what are you currently listening to?
So Romderful, he puts out EPs and stuff that are now available on like Apple Music and Spotify and stuff. So that makes me happy, because somebody messed up SoundCloud and decided that we need to monetize and put commercials on everything and charge for it. So that messed up SoundCloud, which makes me upset. And all my music got deleted from SoundCloud. So yeah, Romderful is dope. Who else am I been listening to? I've been listening to that. I've been listening to that new Brent Faiyaz and Drake track like nonstop. It's Brent Faiyaz and Drake produced by the Tunes, and I cannot stop it.
And the way I bumped into that, I was like, why is the Neptunes trending? I was like, wait, why are the Neptunes tweeting? I'm like, yeah, you'll see Pharrell every now and then, but like, Like the squad is here. I'm like, what is going on? I was like, oh shit, the Neptunes is back. And I was like, oh snap. And I was like, yeah. And that track is
yeah. I mean, because first they gave us Hit Different by SZA, which I was like, yes, it's great. And then they came out with this track. So D Smoke also, Inglewood native, super dope. He came out with this track called Folk a couple weeks ago, which is fire. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful song.
That video with him and Issa was like, that's when I was like, oh, I really need to tap in with D Smoke more. And I started listening to it like from that point.
Also like Doja Cat a lot. Megan, of course. Summer Walker, dope. I've been listening to a lot more R&B. So Don Toliver, her got a new album, which is good as well. So yeah, I'm just been listening to all the things. I like to like just make a playlist every month, and I just put whatever new music that I like into my playlist every month. So I've got playlists.
Why don't you start a series and curate it? I feel like people would love to, if you was to share your playlist, I guarantee you people would tap in, because one, and I don't know if you intentionally did this, but you give off an artsy, connected vibe, like based off of like feelings and stuff like that and moods and stuff like that. So I can see you putting out a curated playlist by you that people will rock with.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea at all.
So
Jim.
Hey, I'm listening. Anything that we can do to help. So last segment that we do, it's called recommendations. It could be something that you're reading, something that you're watching. You already kind of did listening to, so you don't have to go into that. But something that people should check out.
Oh my God, there's so much, and there's so much TV. There's so much.
And it doesn't have to be new. There's something that it could be like a sleeper. It could be like, you know what? I used to watch this, and a lot of people didn't watch this, but you guys should go back and watch this.
You know what? In the same light of geeks, since this is the Geek Sect podcast, I will highly recommend my favorite movie of all time, Back to the Future.
Oh,
because when I was a kid, I watched it every weekend. I used to watch Back to the Future and Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Great Adventure, Big Adventure, one of those. Every weekend. And so, please, I highly recommend watching Back to the Future because, first of all, it's sci-fi as hell. Second of all, it's time travel, and being careful with not breaking the space-time continuum.
It kind of wrote the rules of time travel.
Into his parents.
Yeah, it kind of wrote the rules. Like a lot of people go off of whatever was said about time travel and Back to the Future. A lot of people kind of go off of that as that's law for if you're time travel.
Yes, even with Avengers Endgame, they did a bunch of Back to the Future references, and I was just sitting in the theater crying because I'm like, I get that reference. This is so great. No one else understands. No one else. You're all just sitting here, flex capacitor. So I highly recommend Back to the Future because it's my favorite. And also the other one I want to recommend, which is, in my opinion, one of Eddie Murphy's best movies all time, is The Nutty Professor. Go back and watch The Nutty Professor. It is the funniest shit. And you can't tell me that Eddie Murphy is not one of our best.
Oh, definitely.
You can't tell me, every different character he did in that movie was just like, this is Eddie Murphy. Oh, and this is Eddie Murphy. Oh, and this is Eddie Murphy. And they're all so different and great. And it's just like they casted different people for those roles. So I love it. Back to the Future, Nutty Professor, and they're both involved in science.
Yeah.
And honestly, Nutty Professor is a sci-fi comedy.
It definitely is if you think about it, because with the whole transformation, it's very sciencey. Like when you think about it. All right, so to wrap everything up and everything, what can you tell us about the upcoming season of Insecure?
Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing.
Okay, well then let's do it. Let's do it this way.
Lisa's in it.
Lisa's in it.
Lisa's in it. Molly's in it.
All right. Well,
Angela's in it.
And with everything wrapping up, then what was the biggest takeaway from this series for you? Just in general, on a personal level, in general, what was this series for you?
Yeah, it was representation, 1,000%. We've never seen South Central Los Angeles portrayed in this way. on television or in any medium. It humanized our city and our neighborhood because, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, a lot of people view South Central as a place where you need to be careful of the colors that you wear and the street that you turn down in your car if you get lost. And it's not that at all. We are a community of wealthy-minded and cultured people who love our community, who love our people, and who uplift one another. And Insecure got to show that to the world. So now it's like, we're not a monolith. We're not just, you know, loving hip hop, throwing drinks on each other, you know, arguing in public. Like we're more than that. We are creative. We are business people. We are loving. And even with Thug Yoda, to represent Thug Yoda, it's like, yes, we see this dude who has a gang affiliation, but he's a father first.
He is. Yep. And
father first, and everything else comes second. So it's like, and also just because he's a thug or whatever, like, doesn't mean he's not highly intelligent.
Well, I mean, they call him Thug Yoda. That is like, if that's not saying, look, I'm a gangster, but I'm very smart, because Yoda was the epitome of smart in Star Wars. Like, he was the guy. So it was like, yeah.
And he had them hands with that lightsaber too.
He definitely did. But he was poised.
Yep.
He doesn't choose violence, but if violence happens, well then, hey, you have like, So, all right, man. So where can my people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Tristen J. Winger.
All right, man. Well, thanks, man. This has been 101 with Deuces. I've been Deuces. This has been Tristen Winger, and we are out. Peace.
Flawless victory.